how did you find out who the Bears traded for? Because for me, I got a pump faking notification, right? It got sent to me, Bears trade for Cleveland Browns edge rusher. And I almost had a cardiac situation. Q, how did trade deadline treat you?
Trade deadline treated me well. We got the Cleveland Browns edge rusher, and everybody knows Cleveland Browns edge rusher. I think we got the gem. We fleeced them. They kept Myles Garrett.
Really?
Yeah, we fleeced them. They kept Myles Garrett, but Myles Garrett ain't who we wanted. We wanted Tryon Shoyinka. I'm ready for this era. I'm excited, pumped. Let's go Bears. Bear down. All right.
In here, Q. I don't know if you are.
I'm trying.
I don't know who Troy Aikman.
I'm trying to sell this to you, right?
Okay, all right. Because I didn't want to say you.
You're full of shit.
Yeah. Okay. Before you all send me to get drug tested, I don't want to use the word let down because I didn't have high expectations for the trade deadline. Because one year, Poles gave me Chase Claypool of the deadline. So when the trade deadline passed and we got Tryon Shoyinka, my first thought was, please tell me he didn't give up a second or third. And I was relieved. So now when the trade deadline passes, I'm just relieved. I'm relieved we didn't give up a major asset for a player who's probably not going to live up to that major asset we're getting rid of. Did I think there was a chance for Myles Garrett when I saw the headline? Absolutely not. Cleveland has shown that they're committed to letting Myles Garrett rot in Cleveland and leave that soiled mark on his otherwise brilliant Hall of Fame career. I mean, Myles Garrett has a chance, and this is not hyperbole. I think he has a chance to go down as maybe the greatest edge rusher ever to play. You know, he's in contention for greatest defensive player ever. But we all know with anything that's GOAT related, it is a narrative built thing. You have to have the hardware. You have to have the playoff success. He's not having playoff success. He's not even getting to the playoffs. So one of the things that made Lawrence Taylor, GOATed was the Super Bowl success with the Giants. He got 2 rings with the Giants. Reggie White entered those conversations when he got a ring with the Packers and went to back-to-back Super Bowls with the Packers. You look at a guy like Bruce Smith, his resume is impeccable. 200 sacks. I think there's only 2 men in the 200 sack club. Bruce Smith is one of them, and he is not ever mentioned amongst GOAT talk. My overall sentiment was relieved because Ryan Poles doesn't seem to do the best at trading. The Garrett Miles thing would have sent me into overdrive. I'd probably still be drunk or maybe worse if we landed Garrett Miles. Probably would have sold my 401k for Super Bowl tickets by now.
The thing with Myles Garrett, it's like trying to get somebody out of a bad relationship. Sometimes you just gotta mind your business because they have opportunities to leave and they chose to stay. Myles Garrett,
he demanded his trade, and they gave him that ring.
Yeah, he tried to break up.
They gave him that car, and he was like, and he went back to that dysfunctional relationship. And now I saw that he had 5 sacks and was sitting way on the end of the bench. Because I mean, they got their asses handed to them by the Patriots. No matter what Herculean efforts he puts up, the Browns are just stuck where they are. This is like Groundhog's Day. Every day Myles Garrett wakes up and does great things on Sunday, and every day the Browns lose and don't play Shedeur Sanders. But that's a whole nother.
Right. We're not even playing the Cleveland Browns this week. We got to put all of our energy into New York. I'm with you there. Ryan Poles, sometimes when he's aggressive, he kind of loses sight of the bigger picture, and he undervalues the assets he has for the asset that he's trying to acquire. Chase Claypool was a tremendous shout in which we were tanking that season. Why are you trading a draft pick for a player that can help us this season? Are we not tanking? Are we or are we not tanking? So in one aspect, yes, this has, maybe he's learned from those past mistakes. Maybe he's learned from the past Thirstiness. Yeah, I'm glad you get some water, young man. Let's not be that thirsty no more. Or maybe Ben Johnson is more in the quote unquote football adult in the room, and we're not doing that anymore. We agreed episodes ago, a long time ago. This team is not when Michael Parsons was on the board. This team isn't one player away. We would like to have another player based on the situation we have with all the bodies that we're down. But if it comes to giving up a future asset, we're out. We don't have Panthers picks anymore. We don't have anybody's future picks.
Unless it's Garrett Miles. Now, I would say even with Garrett Miles, we're not one player away, but with Garrett Miles in the picture, we're one off season away. I firmly believe that because I think his impact is just that high. I think if you do land Garrett Miles, I think you go into next year if you have a good off season as a legit contender to come out the NFC. I think his impact is just that strong with what we already have.
But what kind of good offseason? What does good offseason mean? The Bears have spent a lot of money on the same thing that Myles Garrett brings you. Dial Ebigdambo he got signed to $50 million. Grady Jarrett, a lot of money. We still got Javon Dexter we got to re-sign, I think, this coming off season. Montez Sweat is one of the highest paid Bears ever. And now if you trade Myles Garrett, we can't even get fat through the draft because they're gonna take a lot of our picks. They're taking our first, second, and maybe some more down the line just from Myles Garrett. So I don't know if we're just one offseason away. I think we have, based on the offseason we're still reeling from, getting Myles Garrett, we get better now, but the clock is ticking on him as well. I think he's already, coming around 30 now, right? Him being elite, the sand is starting to leave that side of the hourglass. I don't know. Maybe in a different part of the multiverse, it would have made sense, but
let me remind you to bear down a little bit better. Right now, you're sounding real pessimistic, and you got to think about. Let me take you back to 2017, the last time an elite edge rusher was moved. No disrespect to Micah Parsons. I'm sorry. He's another elite edge rusher. The Bears are coming off a 5-11 season with an inferior offensive line to this one, an inferior quarterback, an all-around inferior offense. That team went from 5-11 to 12-4, and I firmly believe we were one Cody Parkey asshat away from landing in that Super Bowl. I think you get past the Eagles in that first round. I think you're better than the rest of the NFC. We saw what they did to the Rams in the regular season. Jared Goff and the Rams offense was not moving the ball. I think the Bears win that defensive battle hands down going away. So, and no disrespect to Khalil Mack, I think Garrett Miles right now is even better than Khalil Mack was in that period. And Khalil Mack is one of the finest defensive players I've seen in this century. But I think Garrett Miles is just on another level. He's on a level where he could he could make his way into the GOAT status. Although time is winding down, you're right, he's 29. I just think you bring in a dominant defensive player, you get back Jalen Johnson, you return most of your starting defense, and guys like Grady Jarrett and Montez Sweat instantly get a boost when you put Garrett Miles on that defensive line. And then you got to calculate another Caleb Williams leap, year 3. You got to calculate another Bears offensive leap. So yes, I do think that you added Garrett Miles. You're no longer kind of watching the other teams at the dance. Right now the Bears, we're getting warmer. We're getting to the competitive side of the football. But right now, I think it's safe to say that the teams that are chasing that Lombardi right now are probably the same, kind of the same characters from last year. You look at, I think the Rams are in those discussions. I think the Eagles are back in those discussions. The Lions, the Chiefs, the Bills. I got to see what the Ravens look like in 3 weeks, but I think it's kind of the same teams. But I think you get yourself a ticket to that table, or you get into that award ceremony, and you wait to see if your name is revealed in the nomination. But yeah, so I do think even though Garrett Miles would have took a lot of assets away, absolutely worth it with the impact he would make here to a team that's already 5-3. And well, what would he probably cost? 3 first-round picks? That's what the Eagles tried to offer, right?
And the Eagles were unsuccessful, so it's going to cost more.
Jesus. Jesus. Do you have any newborns to sacrifice? You get started on one?
Yeah, I don't have any with my genealogy. I can go find some newborns though. I can sacrifice. If they just want newborns, I can go get some.
Listen, I am willing to sacrifice a human life to bring Garrett to Chicago, and I will stand there as unbothered as Trump did in the Oval Office when that guy almost lost his life next to him. I will be that level of unbothered because I need to see a Bears Super Bowl in my lifetime. I can't keep hearing about the '85 Bears. I need to see. I need to see this for my own eyes. The Devin Hester thing was such a terrible tease 20 years ago. I need to get that bad taste out of my mouth. No Diddy. Uh, yeah, I need a Super Bowl win. I need a reason to do cocaine. Go on a coke binge in February. Give me a good reason.
I feel you. But this is who we gonna roll with. I'm trying to get you high in February off that coke, off some good stuff too. The Colombian, fresh off the boat.
Yeah.
That's if that guy you mentioned doesn't shoot it out the water first.
Tua Tagovailoa
On the road to the Bears showing up in the Super Bowl. Week 10 opponent is the New York Football Giants. Giants fans, they've gone through a bit of a whirlwind right now. The political climate up there is euphoric right now, but unfortunately for the football team, they're dealing with the loss of Cam Scatterboo still, and that's after the loss of Malik Neighbors. So the injury report for the Bears, you've got Josh Blackwell, TJ Edwards, Dominique Robinson, all have not practiced at all this week. TJ Edwards would be the most important player to miss, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, because without him, we remember how the Bears defense looked in the first 3-4 weeks of the season.
I mean, we're also vulnerable
without him
in the past without TJ. Sewell blew an assignment and that led directly to a touchdown. So
yeah, twice. Well, one of them. Well, if we're talking about all season, so Noel he just got beat a couple of times. I don't know about blowing assignments. So
yeah, Aaron Jones beat him. He couldn't bring Johnson down, and against Cincinnati, it looked like he just didn't get the right drop into the zone, and they just dropped the ball right over his head. So yeah, that's 3 we can attribute right to Sewell. That I don't know. Well, Aaron Jones is tough for any linebacker in coverage, but Sewell just got beat badly on just a basic. It was just a basic route, and he just got scorched. So, yeah, TJ, as much as he makes a difference in the run game, I think it's equal in the pass game. Unfortunately, you might see Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary deployed there too.
1 second. Also on the injury report, these guys at least show limited on Thursday. Kevin Byard, Roschon Johnson, DJ Moore, and Rome Odunze were all limited in practice on Thursday. Luther Burton, Grady Jarrett, Cole Kmet, Kyle Monangai, Amon, and DeAndre Swift were all full participants on Thursday. So Luther could be on the way back. Grady Jarrett trending towards he's going to play, which is great. Cole Kmet, it seems that his concussion isn't. Well, you can be a full participant in practice and you still don't play after a concussion. So I'm gonna move that off to the side. Kyle Monangai, full participant. Yeah, exactly. So I don't think this is even though it's a lot of guys on the injury report, I'm not really dismayed with it. Only guy I'm really concerned with is TJ Edwards. Is there another guy that you're concerned with being on this listed on this report?
I mean, no, because there's nobody that's really unexpected. I think Rome was a limited participant. You said that?
Yeah, Rome was limited on Thursday. Yeah, he did, and he didn't practice on Wednesday, which Wednesdays are usually walkthroughs.
He's gonna play. DeAndre, I think you said DeAndre was on there too.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna play. I think DJ was even on there. He's gonna play. Cole Kmet, he's a veteran, but I think you got a healthy Loveland. I think you're okay if you miss Cole Kmet, right?
Considering last week, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But, considering that we are going against Brian Burns and Thibodeau and a pretty feisty, pass rush,
D-line,
I would
yeah.
like to have all the tight ends.
Yeah,
I would
you're
like to
right.
have all
You
the
might,
tight ends that we need.
yeah, you might be in a lot of two tight end. I would say Dominique Robinson, but I kind of figured he wasn't going to play. And I mean, I like him for the depth piece and how he was accelerating. So yeah, I agree with you on the most important guy missing, the most alarming guy missing.
Yeah, let's just hope that TJ Edwards is available to play. So this presents a very unique chance for the Bears to start stacking wins. Also, the Bears get their 6th win of the season, one more than they had all of last season. I like that for the Bears.
The Bears.
Speaking of the boy Caleb, the Bears offense enters this game coming off a tremendous and euphoric game of themselves in Week 9, beating the Bengals 47-21. Caleb Williams, he had his highest graded single game of his career. The Bears scored 47 points, as I stated, against the Bengals, showcasing their offense is one of the best in the league. Only 5 of the teams this season have scored more than 47 points in a game. Caleb Williams, he had 280 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 355 total yards, and another touchdown receiving. 114 rating against the Bengals. He's also protecting the ball very well in wins. In the Bears' 5 wins so far, they have turned the ball over twice and have forced 18 takeaways. So let's start this game talking about Caleb versus the passing defense of the New York Giants. Q, what have you heard about their passing defense? And when I say passing defense, I'm also including their passing their ability to rush the quarterback.
Oh, they got.
What do you think about that?
They got some edge rushers. They got Brian Burns. They got Kayvon Thibodeau. Abdul Carter was a number 2 pick in the draft this year, or number 3. What was he?
Yeah,
3?
I think he was 3.
Yeah, because Travis Hunter went number.
Yeah, because he was 1 of 2. Yeah, right.
He hasn't got off to a great start yet, but the ability is there. The ability is there. I kind of thought Abdul Carter might need a little bit more polish, but he has all the tools, and he might line up over Theo Benedict. So, and then they still got Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns. They can get to the quarterback. They can absolutely get to the quarterback. Brian Burns is already at 10 sacks this year. He's turning
11.
He's at 11. Yeah, he's turning in a Pro Bowl type year. So it's definitely a concern that Giants front 4. And then they got Dexter Lawrence there, and he's healthy. They got a tough front 4. In the back ends, they got some guys who have played well. Paula Adolson is that his name? But they've been banged up in there. They've been banged up in their secondary, and they rank in the lower third of pass defense. So you can get to them. I thought one of the guys they lost, unfortunately, Xavier McKinney, is a terrific safety. I remember you begging Poles to make that move. He didn't listen again. We're gonna have to catch Poles coming out of STK or one of his favorite little downtown joints and bop him over.
He'd be at Gibson's.
He's Gibson's. Yeah.
I've heard he'd be at Gibson's. Yeah,
Gibson's is decent. I've been there before. We're gonna have to catch him coming out of Gibson's and talk to him and be a little bit more very persuasive. Like, bro, like we don't want to have to do something to you, but you got to start listening. So yeah, the Giants, their secondary can be got a little bit. I think this is another chance for Caleb and the receivers to shine.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Their secondary is very weak. Probably, I don't think it's the weakest part of their team, because I'm talking about that a little bit later. But I want to highlight their containment concerns on the New York Giants. Their defensive line, That's their number one goal. They got to contain Caleb, who you pointed it out in the previous episode. He's a pretty good athlete. I don't think he's, elite athlete, but he's pretty good at scrambling, especially getting away from sacks. If he can break containment and get out to the sideline, the defense is going to have even a bigger task in containing this offense, because if they can do one thing right, and if they have the opportunity to try to upset the Bears, who are a 4.5-point favorite, they're going to have to keep Caleb in the pocket. They're going to have to wrap him up when they get to him. As also Brian Burns. That was one of the guys we definitely wanted. If he was available, we wanted him to get him. I already said
I think we talked about him
11.
a couple years ago too. Yeah.
Leading the league with 11 sacks. He's on a streak right now, 4 consecutive games with at least 1 sack. He's recorded a sack in 8 of the last 9. We want to break that streak. I'm talking to you, Theo, talking to you, Wright, Josh Jackson, who's been playing better of late, Tooney and Dahlman. We got to keep that guy off of our quarterback. Caleb, he's going to have to keep an eye on Brian Burns as well. The defense.
Exactly, yeah. And Brian usually rushes from the blind side. So you got to know where he's at all times. I'm hoping we can give Theo a little bit of help, or a lot of bit of help. I want to see backs chipping. I want to see, messing with Brian Burns' eyes. Maybe have a receiver crack back, a tight end chip on him. You got to get him worried about getting cracked from from his blind side, so he doesn't get to Caleb on his blind side. You definitely got to get his eyes moving this way. I don't need him having tunnel vision on Caleb, because like you said, if there's one thing that can cause an upset, it's turnovers. And the Bears, you said this was another win without turnovers. They tend to win when they don't have any turnovers.
Yeah.
So what you don't want is Brian Burns getting a good jump on Theo and a strip sack and a fumble recovery by their defense, either leading to a touchdown directly or leading to points on the board. Those are the type of things that can flip the momentum of games like that.
Over/under 2.5 sacks given up by the Chicago Bears on Sunday.
Under. I'm going to go under. I think Ben Johnson and the Bears have found a comfortable niche in the running offense and the running game. And I think Ben is a smart guy. The Bears are a smart offense. They are a staff that is well prepared. I think they're going to know the things we can't do is allow the Giants to play to their strength. So I think you're going to see a lot of runs, maybe towards Brian Burns' side, but obviously you got to run behind Darnell Wright, especially if the kid Abdul Carter is in there. Abdul Carter, yes, he has high upside, but I've seen him get moved around in that run game. He's got to definitely put on a little weight, lot of strength, as a lot of guys who just enter the NFL and get in the trenches do. I want to see them run at Abdul Carter. I know he'll be rotating with Kayvon, but I want to see them run at him. I think you're going to see some draws. You're going to see some screens. These are things you do when you got an aggressive pass rush. Those guys want to get upfield. They'll break containment. So I think the Bears are going to be smart in how they attack the Giants. So I anticipate them putting Caleb in a lot of harm's way. And that's another thing. We got to shout out the coaching staff, this staff, because so many times we just have put our quarterback in harm's way in the past. Caleb getting sacked 68 times last year. Justin Fields being absolutely obliterated. Mitch Trubisky, Jay Cutler. I mean, we've been sacrificing quarterbacks in Chicago. It's refreshing to see a smart staff that is able to mitigate some of those concerns and some of those flaws on the offensive line and with the protection. So shout out to the Bears for running very good protection schemes and keeping Caleb upright more often than not. So yeah, I'm going to go under the 2.5.
I would love for that to be correct, because even though 2.5 is not a bad number, if you get sacked 2 times, 3 times, that doesn't necessarily spell doom. It doesn't necessarily spell like you are trending towards a loss. But I want to get the offensive line in a rhythm of which they go on a streak of an anti-Brian Burns type streak where they go game after game after game, not allowing Caleb to touch dirt. Maybe get touched, maybe get rushed a little bit, but no sacks. I would love to see that go. And today, as we move past the Giants and then some other teams, it will be great to start that this week. So the other aspect of the passing offense versus the Giants passing defense is secondary versus the passing weapons for the Chicago Bears. Obviously, you got Rome Odunze, but what jumped off the page for the Bears this past Sunday was the secondary weapons. You got Colston Loveland, who had 2 touchdowns. Zaccheaus, 58 yards and a touchdown. We expect possibly Cole Kmet is back. And I expect Rome Odunze and DJ Moore to break out. And I expect DJ Moore to have another, fantastic game. Versus the Giants secondary. Who holds the matchup advantage there? Hold on. Breaking news. Former NFL star Antonio Brown was apprehended in Dubai.
He's being extradited. Man, free Antonio. Man, free Tone Bone. We're not finna celebrate the incarceration of no ex-receivers or no melanated people. Free that man.
They finally caught his dumbass.
Free Tone Bone.
All right.
Bro was trying to live his best life.
Yeah, as a fugitive.
For our listeners, I'm not promoting active lawlessness or crimes, but understand extradition and what countries you can go to where you won't face extradition. Go do like Russell Simmons. Go find you a country that doesn't extradite to the United States. Shout out to Asada Shakur, too. Find out where you need to be.
Who do you have as they host the advantage? Bears pass catchers or the Giants secondary?
I'm going to go with the Bears pass catchers. The Bears feature several first-round picks in their pass catchers, several second-round picks. I think the Bears are third in scoring.
They are.
I just need the Bears pass catchers to live up to their potential. So I'm going to go with Bears pass catchers. I think you're starting to see Colston Loveland get more involved and turn over leaf. I think DJ Moore is getting more comfortable with his role in the offense, and I think they are better utilizing DJ. And Rome, I don't think he can put together another dud. I hope he can't put together another dud. While his daddy out there tweeting, I'm going to get on Rome's ass if I insert him into my fantasy lineup and he give me 0 points. You ain't got to worry about being upset over not getting the ball. You can catch these hands, Rome. Stop playing with my fantasy team.
I feel that.
I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't threaten. Our players online. But Rome, hey, I'm counting on you. I need a W this week.
Boy, am I counting on him as well. Just as a Bears fan, I believe in the talent of Rome.
Are you confident to put him in your parlay again?
No.
He's lost the parlay privileges.
He couldn't get 4 catches against the Saints. He couldn't get 4 catches against the Cincinnati Bengals. We scored 47 points, and he couldn't get a catch.
I'm still mad about him not catching that touchdown. I know it wasn't the best placed ball, but dude, you are a top 10 pick. You've got to make the difficult catches. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong whatsoever. Yeah, so I'm not putting my money on Rome right now, but I know he's going to snap out of it because I believe in his abilities. I'm not allowing him anywhere near my parlays, but I believe in his talent. I believe him as a Bears fan. I believe him as a soon-to-be Bears Hall of Famer. This week, he's going to snap out of it. I'm just not going to put any money on it. Other than that, Colston Loveland, NFC Offensive Player of the Week, the third Bears rookie ever to win NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Do you know who the other 2 are?
I'm sorry, I was looking up Deontay Banks. I was seeing how all the Giants' secondary members were healthy. Go again.
Colston Loveland, the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. He's the third Bears rookie to win that award. Do you know who the other 2 are?
I'm going to go with A-Train as another one. He just was he burst onto the scene in 2001 and was running crazy. And I think that was against the Bengals too. The third rookie. Okay, Colston, you said third offensive Bears rookie. Let me get a clue. Was it recent?
Oh, all of them. The furthest one was Anthony Thomas. You got that one. I thought that was going to be the most difficult, but it's
Okay.
more recent than Anthony Thomas.
So if third Bear, is Caleb one of them?
No.
No, not Caleb. Okay. So Anthony Thomas is the oldest one, or let me see. Okay, now my brain is another one of them. No, it's not Alshon Jeffrey, because his breakout year was year 2. Is Greg Olsen the other one?
Getting close.
Not Greg Olsen. Don't tell me, not David Terrell, right?
Nope. You're getting close. Yeah, right position.
Ooh, what was it? I know the hell it wasn't Kevin White, because he couldn't even get onto the field.
Of course.
I'm gonna kick myself when you tell me the name, because I feel like I should know. Is it Devin Hester?
Jordan Howard.
How dare I not know him? He actually helped me win a fantasy league championship one year. Man, Jordan Howard, that name just fell out of. Man, can you believe he ran? I think he finished 3rd in the NFL in rushing one year.
Mm-hmm. And then fell off the map.
Fell off the map.
Just like Anthony Thomas.
I think he had a little bit more staying power than Anthony Thomas, though. But both of them, yeah, kind of the same. I think both of them had their best years as rookies. I want to say both of them had that was the highlight pinnacle of their careers.
Yeah. It's great being young, isn't it? So, Colston Loveland, I would love to see him continue the strides he's made after this game. He looked comfortable against that Cincinnati Bengals secondary, and the Giants secondary isn't much better. So let's continue that. Zacchaeus, and like I said, all the rest of the guys, let's continue to bounce. All right, let's talk about rushing offense versus the Giants rushing defense. The Giants defense, they present a very favorable matchup for Chicago, particularly because the Giants cannot stop the run, and they definitely struggle with preventing scoring. If I told you that the Giants were the 31st rushing defense in the league, who do you think is the worst?
If you told me that the Giants were the 3rd worst,
31st or the second worst.
After the belt to ass session Sunday, I think the Bengals are worse than the.
Hey, you're on fire right now. You're right. The Bengals are the 32nd. They are the worst. And you saw what the Bears did to that rushing defense. Kyle Monangai, 200 yards from scrimmage against them. So yes, the Giants, they are 31st in the NFL in rush yardage on defense. The Giants defense holds a 46 run defense grade this season. Only two of their starting players have run defense grades above 65. That's Kevin Thibodeau and Xavier McKinley. The Bears offensive line, they've been showing improvement. They've posted a 93.7 run blocking grade last week. Scale of 1 to 5, Q. Your confidence in the Bears rushing attack this weekend against the Giants rushing defense?
5. We're cooking.
Thin ball rolling.
Yes, thin ball rolling. We're cooking. Darnell Wright, man, I love when Bears players kind of prove me wrong. And I was ready to say Darnell Wright was just a average tackle and a guy that probably wouldn't get a second contract here. And Darnell Wright is really turning in a Pro Bowl year. The way he's blocking, I mean, he's looking like a man out there. Tooney and Dahlman, they've got a good chemistry going, and good chemistry where they're able to, these combo blocks, they're able to get people out the way and then get to the second level. Jonah Jackson starting to prove his mettle. He's looking like what he was in Detroit a couple years ago, and he's looking like Ben Johnson made the right call. We just got to get Theo up to par. But even in the run game, Theo is pretty solid in the run game. Kyle Monangai running well. DeAndre Swift running hard. I just can't see the Bears running game having a letdown right now because the way they're rolling, the way they're getting to the second level, the way they're moving people off the line of scrimmage, they're looking good. And the Giants have not stopped the run this year. I don't see any reason to not bet on the Bears' run game to continue being successful. And I think Monangai and Swift can both be very effective. I can see both of them getting north of 70 yards.
70 yards? That's it?
No,
Because I was just about.
I'm saying both of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you really? Well,
That's it.
That would be 140 yards on the ground. You saying you want to see 200? Okay.
If the Giants are just a tick better than the Cincinnati Bengals, and DeAndre Swift is a lot better than Cal Monangai, and Cal Monangai ran for 200, will put 176 on the Bengals.
And the week before, I think DeAndre Swift ran for 100 and Monangai ran for 80, right? Against the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
And the Saints are a better run defense than the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get both them boys 100 then. I got no problem with it.
I can see now that we've laid that out, over under 185 and a half rushing yards for the Chicago Bears.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Oh, man. I'm going to say under, but not because the Bears aren't going to get their way in the run game, but because Caleb and the receivers are going to get their way in the passing game. So it becomes a thing of how many mouths get fed. Rome comes back with a vengeance. I think Caleb has another 270. He puts up another 270. We're at home, Soldier Field. So I know we're only 3.5-point favorites. I don't expect the Giants to just roll over. The Giants are scrappy. They've been fighting all year. But when you lose a guy like Cam Scatterbull, that has a trickle-down effect for the entire team because he's the guy that not only was he running the ball well, running the ball hard, he was moving the chains, keeping the time possession on the Giants side, keeping their defense off the field. Tracy and Devin Singletary have been far downgrades pre-Scatterbull and post-Scatterbull. So, I mean, the Giants become kind of one-dimensional. When you come one-dimensional and you're a rookie quarterback against Dennis Allen or a young quarterback against Dennis Allen tends to take advantage of you. So, I think this is a game where the Bears can jump out early and can kind of just coast, but they can have a really balanced attack. So, I'm going to go under 185, but not by much.
Okay. I'm with that. I got Caleb throwing for 225, 3 scores.
Give me
2 scores. I got Caleb putting 225 and 2 scores, and the rushing offense getting 190 combined. Caleb's in there too, 190 combined, and another 2 scores. Let's put it like that. But I'm not predicting a game. I'm not predicting the score just yet. That's just how I see the Bears offense going. Let's talk the last bit of the offense. Let's go red zone and situational football. The week before, I got on the case about being unaware of the situation that you're in and putting yourselves in bad spots, right? The Bears showed improvement in their situational awareness and their red zone last week. And I hope that continues. And again, if you want to compare the Cincinnati Bengals defense to practice, the Giants aren't too much better than just being practiced as well. The offense was hunting for coverages and taking advantage of the defensive weaknesses. The Bears end up going 4 out of 6 in the red zone against the Bengals. And there was a bunch of plays in which Caleb and the offense, they just knew the situation. They just knew what to do. I remember Caleb rushing for a first down, which the week before he just got down because he saw the hit coming. This time he said, I'm getting to the sticks, and he got there.
Yeah,
There was an improvement in awareness, and you need that as a team continues to grow. The Giants are giving up 27 points per game this season. Same neighborhood as Cincinnati and Dallas, who the Bears have torched. They also gave up 34 points to an opponent using a backup quarterback. The Giants defense gave up a 96 rating to Mac Jones last week. And I'm going to use that as my segue to the defense, to the Bears defense. So I like what the Bears offense, their ability, their chance to have another good showing this week. I said 4 touchdowns. I'm standing on that. All right, let's segue to the defense. The Bears defense against the Giants offense. As we already stated, Malik Neighbors gone for the season. Cam Scatterbo gone for the season. Jackson Dart, they're one remaining young guy, and as you said, Abdul Carter, who hasn't really flashed yet. But we talked about defense already. Let's talk about their offense. The Giants' offense, they're coming to this game as they're looking to get right against the Bears' defense. We think the Giants' defense is cake. A lot of teams are looking at the Bears' defense as also cake as well. A lot of injuries. We got Kyler Gordon still on IR. Jalen Johnson, he's still on the mend. Don't know if he's going to be back this season. Tyreek, while he's back, he was still, you could tell he was not playing at 100%. Yeah. Dow Bedingbo gone for the season. Grady Jarrett hasn't, he's been banged up a lot, so I'm not too sure about what.
Too many calluses, too much callousing of the body. I need him to have a lot less calluses.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's been rough for Grady Jarrett right now, even though he's still the captain. As far as him being healthy, still a work in progress. Jackson Dart, he's been pretty effective since becoming a starter. He's a lot better than Russell. Although the team has lost more games than they have won with him, and it's still the Giants. They say he's got great instincts. He's got all the arm talent in the world, and he is coming off a solid performance against those 49ers. He had 107 passing rate with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. And he does pose a significant running threat. In fact, I think they run the ball with Dart.
That's my biggest concern with Dart.
Yeah. I agree. I think, especially when they still had Cam Scatterbo, they were running the ball a lot more with their quarterback than they were actually showcasing him as a passer. I think that's a little bit as protecting him, but that's just the way the offense is right now. That is a very key concern for the Bears defense. As you know, we talked about the Bears' inability to get to the passer, and there's been times in which they've broke containment. They've just do not contain quarterbacks very well.
You got to wrap up and you got to finish, because that's been an issue getting to the quarterback too. There's been a couple times we've seen guys get out of Montez Sweat grip and go up the field for a significant chunk of yardage. You got to wrap up Jackson Dart, because he's slippery too. He like you said, like you alluded to earlier, he's not an elite athlete, but he is athletic and he is mobile, and he'll get away, and when he gets out of the pocket, he looks to do damage on the run.
He had 56 rush yards and a touchdown last week against San Francisco. He's got 4 games, I think, this season in which he's ran for 50-plus yards. And you remember that the Bears have won 5 of their last 6 games, and the one game they lost, Tyler Huntley, he had a lot of back-breaking scrambles against that Bears defense.
Yes, he did.
Again, I don't blame the Bears defense for that game. The Baltimore Ravens were up to some shady business with their injury reporting. I think the Bears were more so focused on Lamar than Tyler Huntley. However, that's in the past. So, key weapons for the Giants. They're not at full strength. I already talked about Malik Neighbors and Cam Scatterbo. However, Wan'Dale Robinson, he's come up as their deep threat. Darius Slayton, he's pretty much their under possession receiver. You still got Tyrone Tracy as their number 1 running back, who is a functional running back, who's a pretty good running back in his own.
Tight end has come along really well too. Theo Johnson. I don't know if he's been on your fantasy radar, but he gets in the end zone a lot, and he's pretty decent after the catch as well.
No, he's not on my fantasy radar, but I have teams in which I have Wan'Dale Robinson. I've had Darius Slayton once or twice.
I've actually started Wan'Dale a couple of times. Wan'Dale, he'll rack up the catches. He's a guy that's flex worthy.
And he's a big play receiver too. If he can get behind some guys, and you said your key concern is Jackson Dart, breaking containment. My key concern is Bears giving Dart too much time and letting Wan'Dale get down the field, and he gets in the seam between Brisker and Nahshon Wright and goes crazy.
Wan'Dale's quietly. He's a nice receiver. The funny thing is he's like a lesser he's a scaled down version of Malik Neighbors in a lot of ways. He's good after the catch too. He's a guy that can burn you after the catch. He's got sneaky vertical speed. He's shifty. He's a good route runner. Yeah, Wan'Dale is definitely a concern.
If you were to rank the offensive weapons as in matter of concerning for the Bears, where would you put Wan'Dale? You got Jackson Dart, Wan'Dale, Tyrone Tracy, Darius Slayton, and that tight end that you mentioned. Where would you have
I
all
would
those
put
guys
Wan'Dale
ranked?
at the top of the list for the simple fact that we are down three corners right now. You know, Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, the young kid Terrell Smith. Like you said, Tyreek looked like maybe he was still being affected. You got Nahshon Wright. I would put Wan'Dale at the top of the list just because our secondary is hurting so bad. You know, he has the opportunity to go up against guys who are either, you know, backups or a guy like Chauncey who just got here and is not naturally a corner, but is playing in that slot role because we don't have Kyler Gordon right now, and then we don't have our number one corner right now. So Wan'Dale is at the top of my list because I feel like we match up better with the rest of the guys. We've seen better running backs than Tyrone Tracy, and we've been able to limit them, especially last few weeks. The Bears' run defense is no juggernaut, but I feel like there's been a significant strides the last 4 or 5 weeks since about the Washington game. I feel like we've kind of turned the corner. And Jackson Dart, we've seen he's a rookie still, and even though, like you said, he's dangerous with the legs, I don't really fear him picking us apart from the pocket. You just got to kind of be disciplined and keep him from getting out the pocket and running. And I mean, my biggest fear with Jackson Dart is, like you said, the running and the fear of him getting outside the pocket and with the play breaking down, him you know, throwing it on a fire drill and catching us kind of, you know, the corners can only defend for so long. So that's my biggest concern. So yeah, Wan'Dale is at the top of my list for concerns.
I want to talk about the cover. Continue talking about the coverage issues for the Bears. The Bears ranked bottom 10 in coverage grades. Last week, we gave up 470 yards, which is a career high for Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's been in the league for about 46 years, and
Joe
he got his
Flacco's been in the
career.
league since NFL was on Sega.
Yeah. And he got his career high last week against the Bears. 4 touchdowns for him as well. Some of these yards came from, I would say that was just a great catch from T. Higgins. That
2 great catches
a lot of
from T. Higgins.
Yeah, I would say that, but still, you know, something like that can't continue to happen. But I do think where the Bears excel in is, one, taking the ball away. The Bears still do lead the NFL in takeaways, but you can't depend on that, especially against the Giants, because Dart, you know, recently he hasn't really put the ball in dangerous opportunities. He's only had 2 turnover-worthy plays in the last 4 games. He hasn't turned the ball over a lot. That's not a mark for him, especially for a young quarterback, a rookie quarterback. So if the Bears want to lean on takeaways, that's not the game where you can actually predict something like that. I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah. Jackson Dart has played well considering the circumstances. I think he's accounted for himself well. And if you're a New York Giants fan, you're probably excited for the future. Even though Cam Skattebo had a ugly injury, you know, you got Jackson Dart, Skattebo, Abdul Kara. You got 3 building blocks. And yes, that's one of the dangerous things about this game is that if we don't win the turnover battle, the playing field gets a lot more level. And like I said, the Giants are a scrappy team. You are what your record says, and I think they're 2-6 right now, or are they 3-6? What are they? 2-6? Whatever they are, it's not a good record. But the Giants are going to play hard. Brian Dable got that team playing all 60 minutes, every snap. They don't take snaps off. So this is not a game where the Bears can just look at that record and just decide they're going to just coast through. This is not a game you're going to coast through, and we're not good enough just to coast through. You saw what the Giants did to the Eagles a couple weeks when the Eagles came in coasting.
Another way that the Bears can try to force Jackson Dart into making a rash decision is to obviously pressure him. The defensive front has seen some improvement in recent games. Montez Sweat, he's got a sack in 3 consecutive games right now. He's played more snaps. He played over 75% of the snaps last week. The team is also trying to get Austin Booker more snaps and playing time, obviously, because I mean, who else is going to do it, right?
Because Dale's gone. I mean, not that he was ever here.
Now that Dale's gone, they traded for your boy Joe out of Cincinnati.
Joe, say his name. Say his name.
I don't know his name.
Tryon Shoyinka. Come on.
I'm not doing all that.
Tryon Shoyinka.
Tryon. That's his name. From now on, his name is Joe T. I don't know. Joe TS. JTS. That's his name. Like people say JSN so they don't get themselves in trouble on TV. JTS. They don't want to say that, the Jigba. JTS. That's what I'm calling them. JTS. So scale of 1 to 5, how confident are you that the Bears can get a takeaway this game?
Confident. We still lead the league in takeaways, right?
Mm-hmm.
They'll find one. And again, Dennis Allen, the way he's dialing up pressure and these blitzes, they'll get young boy to turn one over. And Nahshon Wright may get beat like a drum every game, but the ball ends up in his hands at the end of the night.
Let's do rush defense. Bears rush defense versus the rush offense of the Giants. Although right now Jackson Dart is the primary runner for the New York Giants, the Bears defense has been very, very susceptible on the ground. They're still allowing over 5 yards per carry to runners aside from the quarterback. The run game is not considered a big part of the offense now with Cam Scatterboo gone. I don't think it's going to be a big part of the offense moving forward for the Giants. But if Daboll and the rest of them doing their homework, that's where they should attack the Bears. True or false?
Should they attack the Bears in a run game? Is that what you're?
That should be their point of emphasis. They should attack the Bears on the ground.
Well, here's the thing. Mentally, I'd agree with that. But Devin Singletary and Tyrone Tracy they haven't had the mojo this year. Tyrone Tracy turned in a pretty surprising year last year. Was effective on the ground this year. This year, he just hasn't got it done. I think he's averaging 3.5 yards per carry. And like I said, the Bears' run D has played a lot better over the last 5 weeks. I don't think that would be the Giants' best mode for success against the Bears' defense, just because the Giants haven't been very good on the ground since Cam Scatterboo went down. And Singletary, I haven't seen a good Devin Singletary game in a long time. And I'm going to be pissed if it happens against us. Like, Devin Singletary better not have a throwback game against us. Tyrone Tracy better not look like 2024 Tyrone Tracy against us. I still think even though they're dealing with a rookie quarterback and they're down their best weapon in Malik Neighbors, I still think the Giants, I think their best chance of attacking the Bears defense still would be through the air. I just don't have a lot of faith in the Bears secondary right now, down so many key players. And I think TJ out again. Sewell has not been good in pass coverage this year.
You say that, but the Bears gave a 42 last week. The Giants don't have elite receiving threats like Jamar Chase or T. Higgins, and they're playing a rookie quarterback. That lends me to believe that the Bears defense, even though they've fixed some things in that defense, you would think, but again, down Dio, down possibly TJ Edwards, down Kyler. And what did the rush defense look like when we didn't have TJ Edwards and Kyler out there? What did it look like?
It didn't look as good. It did.
No.
Yeah.
You can say Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary haven't looked good so far this year, but rushing, just like passing, rushing is a facet of offensive philosophy. The Giants have been a rushing first team ever since they went to Jackson Dart. I just think if they are going to make the Bears feel them, and use a basketball term, well, I guess it's a football term too. If you're going to make the Bears feel you, you're going to have to do it on the ground. Because through the air, I don't. Even though the Bears are pretty soft in the air as well, in the backside as well, I don't think it's going to happen for them like that. I just think you're going to have to soften the Bears up through the run. And if TJ don't play, I think the Bears are vulnerable against Tyrone Tracy. And we saw Tyrone Tracy break out last year. He can do it. He can do it. All right. It's time to talk predictions, Q. Let me wind this up. I think most people agree that the Bears are moving in the right direction. Last week's win was a big confidence boost for this team. You go out there and win a shootout. That shows that you can do some things. We've know this team can win ugly. We saw this team win in shootout. We saw this team win in a blowout fashion against Dallas. They've won a lot of games different ways this season. So yes, this team is moving in the right directions. This team has matched its win total all of last season. Why can't they go out and win this game this week against a team that is kind of reeling, was once again rebuilding, and the New York Giants? We're going to capitalize on the defensive and offensive struggles for that team. Given the Bears' recent offensive output and the Giants' struggles against run and points allowed and getting to the quarterback and all other aspects, the Bears should be able to make a ton of plays on offense. I'm expecting them to lean on the run game. As I said earlier, I'm looking for over 185 yards. I can see that. And control the flow of the game. I think Caleb Williams can work off play action and get a couple of big chunk plays. And, like I said, lean on the run game, get a couple of scores easily in red zone. Strategy should be fairly evident for the Bears to control this game, run first, play mistake-free football. Let's continue moving in the right direction in the red zone, capitalize on that 4 out of 6 from last week. Obviously, I got a Bears victory. I haven't picked against the Bears all season. Of course, bear down.
The Bears.
I think the Bears to get this game 31-18.
31-18. I got a Bears victory. I got the Bears 27-19.
19, huh?
Yeah. I think the Giants move the ball, but we stiffen up in the red zone. We see them kick a lot of field goals.
Hey, yo. Okay.
Bear down.
Thanks for listening to this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Don't matter if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on Twitch or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And to all the guys from Chicago, we say 3 things. Bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.